Alright, so I'm back, and today we're going to take a look at the Transformers Kingdom leader class Megatron. And so here he is in his Dino mode. And there's some elements of this figure that I both really like and I also don't like at the same time, even though they're the same elements. It's hard to explain, but I'll try and show it off. So the first thing you're going to notice is that he's kind of panely. Now that could be partially my fault for like mistransformation or not quite getting things super tight, but there's also some other things going on here. But overall, I think he looks pretty good and probably the best alt mode of the Kingdom figures, of the Kingdom dinosaur figures, or Beast Wars figures. So to start off, his head is on, it's got a lot of hinges in here. So it's got a hinge up and down. It breaks up the sculpt, but these panels here, they flip around, and they kind of help keep the sculpt the best they can. So it's like, I don't like it, but I also do like it. Like the neck piece, like it looks fine here, but if you move it over here, it starts kind of breaking up that sculpt and looks a little funky. So it's like it's trying its hardest to. I can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to get it so that it flows with the figure, and it comes off a little on the amateur side. But also kudos for that to them for trying it, because again, if it had been executed just a little bit better, it would have been amazing. The head does slide up and down. Mouth does open and close. You can see a little port there. You could probably plug one of those blast effects in there. But that all works pretty well. The top jaw has its own hinge, I believe so, but the bottom definitely does, and so together, like it's pretty cool. I mean, he gets a pretty good roar out of it. To hear without breaking up the sculpt, which is pretty cool, and then you can go a little bit further if you're going full on beast mode. Pardon the pun. Shoulders are on ball joints here, so you get the up and down. We'll talk about the legs in a second because there's something else that's in there that's pretty cool. The tail does wag side to side, does go up and down. It's attached down here. I wish there was a way to like click it in up here because it does break up the sculpt there. But again, that does allow it to move. So it's like you win some, you lose some there. And then the tail here is on like a disc hinge, so you get pretty good range of motion, and the way it's designed is like it almost looks good, but it kind of fails just a little bit, but it's like it's almost there. The hips are very interesting because see this piece here, let me just pull this up. So the leg here is on a hinge swivel, so you get up and down and then in and out. Now, what this does is this is on this like hinge slider U shape. So you have it here, and then you can use that slider shape to rotate the whole hip forward and all the way back without breaking up the sculpt. I think this is genius. This works so well for this figure. It just kind of gets out of its own way. It's completely opposite of the legs on Rhinox, where everything gets in its own way. This, like, it's staying out of its own way, and it's allowing for a lot of posability in the hips, which allows you to get a lot of character out of it. So it's pretty awesome. The knee does have a hinge in there, and there also is a swivel. The foot is on a rocker and a hinge. So So yeah, it's pretty good, but at the same time, it's not perfect. It's like I could see like if they would have spent a little bit more time fixing a few issues and maybe had to up the cost to like I don't know what the class up from later classes anymore, or what they call it. We used to call it Ultra Class back in my day, back in Beast War day. But it's, yeah, if they would have maybe upped the charge a little bit to refine some of these little hinges and stuff, I think I think it would have been worth it. I may not have picked it up though, because it would probably would have been like, I ain't spending $70 on this figure. That's stupid. But now, before we get into the transformation, to answer a question that I'm sure a few of you might have. Originally, I said I was going to leave this in the package because I was going to go to TFCon and I was like, you know what? The voice actor, David Kane, I can't remember his name, but the guy that voice acted Megatron in the G1 or in the Beast Wars series is going to be there. And actually, Primal's now going to be there as well. So awesome on that. But I was going to leave it in a package store and autograph it, but then after I watched the Kingdom show, and it's like, this is very much a different Megatron, different looking Megatron, and he didn't voice act this Megatron, which is stupid that they wouldn't get the voice actor that voice acted him to voice act for him. I mean, that's just beyond stupid. Especially since he's still going, you know? It's like they're still in the business, aren't they? I don't know. Spend a little extra money and get the actual voice actors. I mean, how cool would that have been? Like, just mini rant. How cool would it have been if they would have got Peter Cullen to play Optimus Prime and Frank Walker to play Megatron in this Siege, the War for Cybertron trilogy. So in Kingdom, you could have also had Gary Kalk, who voices Optimus Primal in the Beast Wars, and David Kane, I think, who did the Megatron in the G1 show. Imagine if they had a show with all four of them playing their most iconic characters all at once. I mean, holy crap, that would have been amazing. I mean, I'm getting mad thinking about that missed opportunity. But anyway, he didn't voice act this figure or this version of the Megatron. So I was like, you know what? If I walked up there and be like, hey, can you autograph this thing that you've never had anything to do with? You know, I'd feel like I'm an idiot. So anyway, let's give him a transform. So transformation's not fun, but it's also not super terrible. So you want to untab these things here, and they fold up. Then you want to fold the legs down. We'll just get this out of the way here. Untab these like this. All right, and then you just close these in and just attach it like that. And then you untab this section here, rotate it around, and it clicks in. And you're done with the legs. I have to also say I like how it's got this purple plastic, which almost feels soft. Yeah, it's definitely like a softer plastic. But it's not like rubbery plastic. It's just a little softer, which kind of gives this dinosaur a little bit of feel of flexibility of flesh, which is actually kind of cool the way they did it. Because again, it's not like rubbery soft. Like it's just a little give to it, and it actually plays well with this character. But then you come down here and you got this white plastic that is the feet and the claws. So it really does break up that sculpt or that paint there without having to actually just paint the toenails. I think I think kudos to them for doing it. And it's like the white is a harder plastic, and they're kind of like using it as an armature underneath the purple. So I like that. It's pretty well done there. Fold these pieces here out. These are on springs, so they just flip right into place, which is cool again. And then you can take this chest piece, and this will fold up and lock into place like that. Well, probably should have done that first. Fold the head up, and then we'll lock it into place. All right, there's that. Rotate the arm around, and then now it's a matter of just kind of like cleaning it up. These come up like this, I believe. And then the little arms can come down. These can fold in. And then this comes up like this. And I believe that's it, right? Come on. Just gonna look at the box art real quick. I believe they have these up like this. But I don't think it really matters all too much where you have them, just kind of as long as they're out of the way. I kind of like it better the other way, just kind of out of the way. All right, and then you want to take this piece here, and this will untab from these sections. Fold these all the way around. Come on. There we go. Run with the softer plastic. And then we can fold this down like this. And this can rotate around like this to kind of form his kind of pincher weapon. And there he is in his robot mode. And it's okay. I have some issues. Let's just kind of go through them over from top to bottom here. There it goes. All right, so his head is on a ball joint, so you get the left and right, little up, little down. All that works just fine. The shoulders are on universal. No, what is that? It's like it's got a butterfly in there, and then it swivels around. So that's pretty good range of motion. I don't like this color up here. I would prefer if it was just either the straight purple or the green. But I don't like this up there. I kind of think it takes away from him. Then he has a hinge in and out, swivel here, hinge up and a little bit back, and then the head still retains the same articulation. What I would like is if there was another hinge like right here, so you can rotate the hand without rotating the elbow, because it kind of just doesn't feel natural to have the head up like this or like this. I would prefer it so that it could go up, like this. This arm, let's see here, it's got the swivel. Does not have a butterfly on that side. Huh, that's weird. Maybe that's just for the head. Come on. Why is that not staying up there? Let's see if that helps hold it. All right, so the hinge up and down. There's the swivel, bends at the elbow, backwards at the elbow. The hand rotates up and down, which is strange because there's really no need for it to move. And this is permanently attached. So you got the hinge there, swivel here, and up and down. In the original show, he was able to detach this. The original toy was not, so it's kind of like a medium in between that, I suppose. It just kind of looks a little in the way. Waist swivel. The hips are on universal, so up to there, back to there, out to there. This does get in the way. You can move that and get further if you want to do that. Bend at the knee, swivel right above it, and then a pretty substantial rocker and tilt. All right, and then, so let's do some size comparison real quick. So again, when I'm talking about scale, I'm talking about the Beast Wars show. I'm not talking about the Kingdom show because I didn't watch enough of it to really have too much of an opinion. So here he is with Primal. Here he is with Dinobot. And here he is with the Black Arachnia. And I would say all of these are pretty good. I would say that's a pretty accurate scale of what I imagine, watching the original cartoon. Beast Wars. Dinobot was almost the size of Megatron. He didn't nearly have the bulk, though. He was like almost as tall, but not as thick. And then Primal was substantially smaller than Megatron. So it's like when they fought, Primal had to rely on how he had a lot more firepower than Megatron and a lot more skill, it seemed. And so I think this is pretty spot on. And then here he is with the Generations Waspinator. And that also looks pretty well. Like I said in my last video, the Rhinox review, you've got a pretty big uphill battle for this Kingdom Waspinator to replace my Generations Waspinator, because there's nothing wrong with my Generations Waspinator. I think he looks good. I kind of wish I had the Takara version, just because they usually have a little bit of a better paint scheme. But past that, you've got a big battle ahead of you for that. So yeah. And I think he looks really good with these new modern Beast War figures. So I think now that the line is coming together, I'm enjoying it a little bit more outside of the Rhinox. Because again, there was no point to the Rhinox. With Megatron, again, there was a point to him. Because all we had was the original toy. There was a Toys R Us. I didn't mention that when I was talking about him. But there was a Toys R Us version of the original toy that had the replaced faces, that had more Beast Wars centered faces. Rather than they didn't have the masks, the crappy little gimmick masks. They were just more focused on being from the cartoon. And those were pretty cool, but it's still very much a product of its age. And then we had a smaller version of it from Robot Masters, but he shouldn't have been smaller. He shouldn't have been a deluxe scale. He should have been, this or larger at all times, because he was a big figure. And that's really it. That's all the Megatrons we had. We kind of had that stupid Cybertronian one from the Cybertron line, with the same with the Primal, but that really wasn't them, and it really wasn't worthwhile. The figures weren't very good. So, I think look and feel wise, he's the best Chug kind of scaled Megatron, period. Just flat, period. He's the best version of that character in this scale you can get. he's got some issues. You know, like I said, some of the tabs weren't working properly. Some of the things that I could see what they're going for. You know, like you move something and the skin kind of moves around it. I could see what they're going for, but they couldn't quite pull it off. So I'm going to give them credit for that, but I can't give them a perfect score for it either. Like it could have used a little bit more refining. So ultimately, I think I'm going to give him a 8 out of 10. Again, I think they should refine a few things a little bit better. I would have liked the left arm cannon to be able to removable, and I would have liked an extra swivel in the head arm. And these things shouldn't be yellow. I don't like the way that looks at all. It's just kind of meh. Move those out of the way. And then, but still, if you're looking for the best representation of the character, I mean, there's still just no shadow of a doubt in my mind. The MP is far superior, as it should be. As it should be. But if you're not in the market for the MP-sized Beast Wars characters, this is a good second option. I'd say if you're a fan of the Kingdom show, then definitely pick them up. If you're just looking for modern scale, chug scale Beast Wars figures, definitely pick them up. If you're looking for the best representation of the character, the MP. So, yeah. I see what I mean? Like just that extra swivel there, and so that he's got the hand this way. That's what I want. That's all I want. Please give me that. It's not that hard. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, he's a pretty good figure. I do recommend him.